Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Media Pulse, the show where we help you make sense of Thai politics. And this morning, we're going to talk about, of course, the major political figures of Thailand, including the Prime Minister and her father.
And the daughter, the Prime Minister, is on the road again, right?
Exactly, yes. This time she's in Peru to attend the APEC summit. And along the way, she met the Thai communities in America as well and made a stop in, I think it was LA, Los Angeles. This is where she went to the temple and was greeted by her supporters as well as there were protesters as well.
But there was one moment that seemed to have caught special attention from the Thai media, right?
Yes, especially on social media because people have been wanting to taste the smoothie that she tried in America. And we're talking about this smoothie in the Instagram post. It's a pink smoothie, looks very delicious in her hand. And the caption reads something like, she wishes for the Thai-Chinese high-speed rail to be completed as soon as possible so that Thai people can enjoy fresh fruits and vegetables.
And while she's busy representing the country in the APEC meeting, her father, the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, is busy doing a more serious work.
Yeah, exactly. I want to try that smoothie. But by the way, we do have lots of tropical fruits and vegetables here in Thailand.
And what did you have to say about these tropical fruits and vegetables?
Well, basically she just said, อยากให้คนไทยได้มีผักผลไม้สดกิน because the high-speed rail is going to bring fruits and vegetables closer to
That is quite interesting because she might have forgotten the fact that lots of the fruits and vegetables that we have been eating are already from China. Didn't she know that?
And it's a lot cheaper than America as well. Anyway, back to Kun Thaksin. The daughter's not around. The father is out to help with campaigning in the local elections in Udon Thani.
And for audiences who are not real political news enthusiasts, there could be a question as to why Pheu Thai party so badly needed to have Kun Thaksin in person in Udon Thani. And this is the background. Udon Thani is the so-called capital of the political empire of Pheu Thai party. And in fact, Udon Thani is one of the biggest provinces in the northeast. And as we all know that in almost all elections in the past many years, Pheu Thai party almost has a complete monopoly of winning the elections in the region. And Udon Thani is seen as the capital of this empire.
Is their territory.
So it's very important that the party is able to defend the province from an inroad by whoever the rivals are. And this is what happened in the last elections. Udon Thani has altogether 10 house seats up for grabs. But unfortunately for Pheu Thai party, two smaller parties then were able to make an inroad into the province and take away and manage to take away 3 of the 10 seats from the parties. It was sort of a slap in the face for Pheu Thai party.
Yeah, so he has to bring back his presence in order to help the party.
Yeah, even though the upcoming election is a local one, it will be held on the 24th of November. That is the next Sunday, right? Even though it's a local election, but whatever the result is a harbinger of the general elections that may take place in a few years' time. So it's very important that Pheu Thai party win this local election.
And that's why Thaksin is there. And for a 75-year-old man, he went on stage 3 times in 2 days. And he talked about a lot of things. Basically, mainly his policies and the things that he has done in the past. We're going to bring you the clip from the first appearance on stage. He talked for about 40 minutes, a bit less than 40 minutes. And a lot of the speech, like I said, was about the things that the Pheu Thai party has done in the past. And there was this little bit at the end where he talks about the candidate.
He was supposed to be there to help canvass for the candidate, right? But in his 3 speeches on the stage, he spent most of the time talking about himself, the Pheu Thai party's national agenda, and touting what he said, what his daughter achievement so far,
Exactly.
and the future of the country under his daughter's leadership.
And he even addresses critics just a little bit as well. So here are some excerpts of what he said on stage.
มีใครไม่มีหนี้บ้าง โอ้ทำไมน้อยจังเลย คนไม่มีหนี้น้อยจังเลย แสดงว่าที่ผ่านมาคนอุดรได้รับการเหลียวแลน้อยไปหน่อย หรือว่าเหมือนกันทั้งประเทศ ชอบนโยบายที่ผมทำทิ้งไว้อะไรมากที่สุด30 บาทใช่ปะแล้วกองทุนหมู่บ้านยังอยู่ไหมยังดีอยู่ไหมผมหดหู่นะจริงๆคือผมนั่งดูเมื่อกี้นี่ผมพูดกับน้องสาวผมคุณแดงว่าไม่รู้อีกหน่อยความเป็นอยู่ถ้าปล่อยไว้อย่างนี้เนี่ยคนไทยมันจะเหมือนคนลาวคือเขาพัฒนาช้าเราพัฒนาเร็วเฉพาะส่วนแต่คนส่วนใหญ่ถูกทอดทิ้งอยู่ช่วงชีวิตนี้เป็นช่วงชีวิตที่ผมมีความสุขมากที่สุดถึงว่าจะโดนร้องโดนเห่าหอนบ้างอย่าไปใส่ใจกับมันเห่าปล่อยมันเห่าหมาอยู่ส่วนหมาคนอยู่ส่วนคนก็อย่าไปเชื่อผมมากเพราะว่าต้องเชื่อลูกสาวผมเพราะผมยังเชื่อเขาเลยอย่าลืมเบอร์ 2นะอย่าลืมเบอร์ 2นะถือว่าเบอร์ 2ถือว่าเบอร์ 2เป็นคนของทักษิณนะ
Yeah, that's a little bit bad.
That's very funny because I think Thaksin realizes that the people may not even remember the name of the candidate. So if you don't know who he is,
What's
you vote
his
for
name?
Thaksin.
Sarawut Pheu.
You vote for Thaksin.
He was for Thaksin. Vote for him, number 2.
But Thaksin was there as legally as an assistant for the campaign for Pheu Thai party. Thaksin doesn't hold any formal position in the party.
No.
He's not even a member of the party, Pheu Thai party. So he's there legally as a so-called campaign assistant of the party. So legally, he was permitted to do what he did. Yeah.
Right, but there's a Facebook post by Thepchai Sutiyakon, who is the former election commissioner. He posted on his social media. He raises 5 questions, and among them, he wonders if Thaksin violated any election laws by asking people to vote for Thaksin. That's one, and if it is legal to have him help with the campaign.
Now you can see, or you can hear from what he said on the stage that at times he sounded very arrogant and condescending to his opponents.
Even mentioning our neighboring countries.
That's right. Yeah. But early next year, there will be a series of local elections across the country, electing members of the provincial administrations across Thailand. And you can be sure that Thaksin will be busy hitting the campaign trail on behalf of the candidates of the party.
We're going to see more of him. So
Definitely.
they're going to be voting for Thaksin instead of, nobody's going to remember the candidate's name from now on.
We can say that now Thaksin is now back in action.
Yeah.
The same old Thaksin now is back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
right.
if you listen to his speeches carefully, he was trying hard to revive the memories of the good old days when he was Prime Minister. He talked about the 30 baht health care program.
Yeah.
He talked about the village fund, talking about those supposed to represent the good old days when he was in power.
To be fair, a lot of people benefited from this.
Oh, definitely, there's no question about that. But it looks like besides Thaksin, Pheu Thai party doesn't really have any other magnets capable of bolstering popular support for the party.
Of course.
So the parties, that's why the party still continues to need to have Kun Thaksin's blessing all the time now. Yeah.
Anyway, there's another issue concerning Kun Thaksin,
That's right.
and that's the scandal.
That's right. Even while he was in Udon Thani, busy campaigning on behalf of the parties, the Pheu Thai party's candidate in the local election, he was still hounded with questions concerning his controversial stay at the police hospital. And you remember that?
Yeah, let's do a recap. So, after being sentenced to a jail term last August, Thaksin never spent a single day behind bars. Instead, he was almost immediately transferred from the Bangkok remand prison to the police hospital, claiming sudden serious illnesses. And he ended up spending 6 months there, recuperating at the hospital before being discharged after being granted a royal pardon, and he went straight home.
So was he really sick? And was he granted special privileges unlike any others during his stay at the hospital? These are among questions that have been asked all along and which all authorities concerned have not been able to answer.
This week, he was bombarded with questions on the issue, but he was evasive and didn't directly address the concerns. Because before he went to Udon Thani, he went to a merit-making ceremony, right?
Okay, this is what he had to say.
Yeah.
There is nothing to it. I don't know what to say if people want to find fault with me. And that was his answer to the question as to what happened to him during his stay at the police hospital.
Yeah, many Thai media believe that the scandal could jeopardize the government if it cannot come clean on it. I mean,
No, but adding more pressure on the government on this issue is a new damning revelation by former National Police Chief คุณเสรีพิสุทธิ์เตมียเวท Thaksin's friend turned foe.
they were very close. So Seri Pisut had earlier in August dropped a bombshell. Basically, he said he visited Thaksin twice at the hospital despite supposed visit restrictions, and he also showed a message online application basically between him and an unnamed person coordinating the visits.
No, but last week Seri Pisut took another step to make good his promise to tell all about his meetings with Thaksin on the 14th floor. This particular floor of the hospital is normally reserved for VIP patients. And Thaksin, as a prisoner, wasn't supposed to be a VIP, right?
Yeah,
but he
he's
wasn't.
a prisoner.
It seemed like he was treated like one.
Yeah, like this headline, it says, Thaksin's on the 14th floor, he's quite chill. There were no nurses around or officers from the corrections department. That's what the headline says.
And in his new revelation, Seri Pisut claimed that the former Prime Minister, when he was visiting him, appeared in casual clothing rather than standard patient attire.
Right.
And Thaksin at the time showed no signs of severe ailments. And Thaksin, according to Seri Pisut, walked into the living room on the 14th floor by himself.
He also gave an interview on Amarin TV, right? He said he saw no medical staff around except for a maid who served coffee.
And Seri Pisut claimed that he went to see Thaksin at the latter's invitation. Thaksin, according to Seri Pisut, wanted him to withdraw charges he had filed against then Prime Minister Sethar Thavisin over the dispute in the appointment of the new police chief.
Yeah, and in an interview, Seri Pisut recalled, he said, Thaksin showed no signs of illness. Our conversation focused on politics and the past. Then Thaksin asked me to withdraw my petition to the National Anti-Corruption Commission against Sethar. That's a quote.
And more interestingly, the first meeting lasted about half an hour, according to Seri Pisut. And in their second meeting, also on the same floor, floor 14, Seri Pisut quoted Thaksin as saying that he did not want to have anything to do with the Wong Suwan family. This is very interesting. Thaksin was supposed to be referring to General Pravit Wong Suwan, leader of the Palang Pracharat Party, which was later kicked out of the Pheu Thai-led coalition government after Thaksin's daughter Paetongtarn became Prime Minister. So, and Seri Pisut had this to say. He said, I never believed that Thaksin was ill at all. When I met him on the 14th floor, he was not in standard patient gown and was not attached to any medical equipment no IV line, no neck support, like the one he was seen wearing when he left the hospital.
Oh yeah, so he was referring to the soft collar that Thaksin was wearing after being discharged from the hospital, which he claimed was needed to support and stabilize the neck. So that
And Serinpoche also insisted that when he was there visiting Thaksin, there was not a single corrections department official on the floor. Something he believed is in violation of regulations requiring a constant watch on convicts during medical treatment outside prisons.
Right. Serinpoche also noticed that he suspected the 14th floor was used by Thaksin only to receive visitors while spending the rest of the time at home looking after his grandchildren.
Now, for the record, Serinpoche has had a decades-long close relationship with the former Prime Minister Thaksin. I have a history of helping Thaksin, and this is what Serinpoche has been saying all along, that he was so close to Thaksin, and Thaksin needed a lot of help from him.
There seems to be a lot of fallout between Thaksin and his old friends recently. Anyway, so Thaksin and Serinpoche kind of broke up in August. After Serinpoche's party was dropped.
But the last straw was that, as you mentioned, that Serinpoche's party was dropped from the coalition government, and Serinpoche's request to have a post in the cabinet was snubbed by Thaksin.
So he was angry. Last week, we talked about how the House Committee on State, with the committee with a very long name. So House Committee on State Security, Border Affairs, National Strategy and Reforms. So they've been trying to get more information about the police hospital or the 14th floor scandal. And they've been trying to get people to come in to testify or give statements about what they know, but haven't really received much information so far. So there seems to be a lot of buck passing between the two agencies, so the police hospital and corrections department.
The buck passing in the sense that when the officials of the corrections department and the police hospital were asked who made the decision for Thaksin to continue staying at the hospital, the people from the hospital said, oh, the decision was made by the corrections department. And the people from the corrections department said the decision was made by the official at the police hospital.
Both were saying it wasn't me. So who actually made the decision? We don't know.
But the House Committee is not giving up, right?
No.
And we will continue to try to get to the bottom of the issue if they can. So the House Committee is holding another session scheduled for next week. This time it has invited high-profile figures who it believes should be able to answer all the crucial questions concerning the issue.
Are they going to turn up?
No, that's a question.
Who did they invite? So they have Thaksin, the Justice Minister Song, the Chief of Police Hospital, who didn't turn up before, the Director of the Corrections Department, and Commander of the Bangkok Remand Prison.
But the question is, how many of them, or any of them, will turn up for the hearing at all?
Thaksin's busy campaigning, so he can't
Thaksin,
go.
in fact, has said that he will not be there. Because he said that the whole thing is a closed book. So don't ask me anymore about this issue. But anyway, the House Committee will continue to pursue the matter, and we expect that the same old questions will be asked. Was Thaksin that really sick? Who made the decision to have him transferred to the police hospital from the prison he was supposed to be held, where he's supposed to be held? And why he was supposed to be recuperating at the hospital? Was he granted any special privileges, like receiving visitors or even leaving the hospital?
So I guess it's their job to keep asking questions. Whether or not they get the answers is another story, so it remains to be seen.
Now we talk about Thaksin. Because for 2 months he just kept a low profile, stay out of the media limelight. But when he came back, of course, it's natural that he would be mobbed by journalists to ask him a lot of questions concerning, of course, we just mentioned about the floor 14 scandal, and even the question about the controversial MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding signed between Thailand and Cambodia was also a question that has been put to Thaksin.
MOU 44 or 2001 MOU in English, different years.
As we have been reporting, the Paetongtarn government
Yep.
has been on the hot seat over the MOU, which critics fear will be exploited by Cambodia to claim ownership over the Good Island in Trat province. We have been hearing a lot about Good Island
Yep.
in Trat province in the past 1 week, right?
Yes.
It's one of the tourist islands in Trat province. And the uproar about it is about whether or not is part of the package of negotiations that Thailand will be conducting with Cambodia. Of course, the government has come out to strongly deny any connection between the status of Good Island and the would-be negotiation process between the two countries.
Yeah, by the look of it, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful island, and people love it. So MOU 44 2001 MOU was an agreement, an MOU memorandum of understanding reached between Thailand and Cambodia to settle their competing territorial claims in the Gulf of Thailand, right? And it was signed in 2001. That's why it's called 2001 MOU. And back then, Thaksin was prime minister, but talks between two countries have made no progress since then.
Now, when asked about the issue, the Thaksin last week dismissed fears that the MOU would cause Thailand to lose its sovereignty over the Good Island. And this is what a copy of the MOU looks like. It's 2 pages.
Very formal.
Very formal. And no, in fact, and according to the experts, analysts that we talked to, and if we look at the MOU carefully, there's no mentioning of Good Island or Gokgud in any way.
Exactly. Yeah, but it became an issue.
But the issue has more to do with certain paragraphs in the MOU that imply that Thailand recognized the Cambodia's claims in the overlapping areas. And that's what the critics said.
That's the interpretation.
That the interpretation by the critics who believe that the MOU has put Thailand in a very disadvantaged position. So they have been calling for the MOU to be scrapped.
Okay. So we have a quote. I think this is Mr. Thaksin said, there are people who know nothing about the MOU, but have been making a lot of noises.
But the person who has been under the most pressure to answer questions about the MOU issue is none other than Defense Minister Kun Phumtham Thepchai. And his quick visit to Good Island last Saturday, remember that we talked about it? His visit there has failed to pacify concerns that the MOU is detrimental to Thailand's interests.
And journalists still kept asking him to clarify the contents of the document, which critics believe implies Thailand's recognition of Cambodia's claim over parts of Good Island. And one question obviously got under Phumtham's skin was about fears that the close ties between former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra and the ruling Hun family in Cambodia could be exploited for a backroom deal concerning the overlapping claims in the Gulf of Thailand.
It's no secret that Thaksin has a special relationship with former Prime Minister Hun Sen of Cambodia, who is now the president of the Cambodian Senate. And he continues to wield significant power in the country.
Yeah.
And while holding no formal political position, Thaksin is known as the ultimate power broker in Thailand. So their close relationship certainly has raised a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And there are fears that that kind of close relationship could somehow compromise Thailand's interest when it comes to negotiating over this very sensitive issue.
But Kun Phumtham kind of addressed it to the media. He said there's no such thing as a secret deal, and how can someone who has no official capacity make a backroom deal?
He was talking about Thaksin.
Yeah.
Thaksin has no official capacity. So how could he make a backroom deal with Hun Sen, the Prime Minister of Cambodia? We all know that Thaksin has no formal offices, right? But we all know that he's the ultimate kingmaker in Thai politics this day.
Usually, having no official positions is the easiest thing for you to go and talk to people, because that's it. If you're an official, then it's difficult to talk about anything, really.
That's right. And Phumtham want to put the whole thing to rest by saying that from this point on, I will not answer any more questions about this MOU issue. But the reporters still try to pester him with questions on this issue. And what he said was, next question, next question.
So he says he's not going to answer it. Doesn't mean that people are going to stop asking the questions, right?
Okay.
Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Marit Sangiampong has also lent weight to the assurance repeatedly given by the Paetongtarn government that the much debated 2001 MOU will not in any way compromise Thailand's territorial sovereignty over Good Island. And Foreign Minister Marit explained the MOU was a result of an absence of agreements between Thailand and Cambodia over the overlapping claims area. The much debated 2001 MOU therefore provides a channel for negotiations for the two countries.
The Foreign Minister described the MOU as the provisional agreement for Thailand and Cambodia to set up a framework and mechanisms for the negotiation, which will be conducted by a joint technical committee, and is very likely, according to Kun Marit and his assistant Kun Ras Chalijan, that the Thai side of the technical committee is likely to be appointed in the matters of weeks now.
Right. He also pointed out to the safeguarding clause in the MOU. He says it clearly states that the negotiations under the MOU will have no bearing on the maritime claims of either country. Yeah, and it means that Thailand and Cambodia can argue or bargain as much as they want to during the negotiation process, but it will have no impact on their maritime claims, not until the two countries come to a formal agreement.
No, it's quite interesting. It's quite important that Kun Marit, the Foreign Minister, offers such a clear clarification of what the MOU is all about. This is the first time that someone of this high position to have come out and offer a formal explanation. But what is important is that in the context of the ongoing debate, the Foreign Minister reaffirmed that the MOU mentions nothing about the status of Good Island, which he insisted that has always been an integral part of the country under the Franco-Siamese Treaty signed in 1907. And this is what we just mentioned about the MOU, right? That Got Good is not in any way mentioned in the document.
Exactly. But the Palang Pracharat Party, which is one of the major opposition parties, is not going to put the issue to rest easily. It argues that the 2001 MOU puts Thailand at risk of losing its territorial sovereignty over the areas around Good Island.
And the party plans to submit a formal petition to the Paetongtarn government next week, urging it to unilaterally scrap the MOU. And it also wants the government to reach an agreement with Cambodia on demarcation of the disputed areas before talking about joint exploitation of energy resources under the water.
Yeah, but the MOU specifies that concluding an agreement for a joint development of the resources and agreeing to the delimitation of the territorial seas between the two countries is an indivisible package, meaning they cannot be done separately.
And the spokesman of the Palang Pracharat Party quoted its leader, General Pravit Wongsuwan, as declaring that he will not allow anyone to take away even a square inch of Thai territory.
Wow,
very
the rhetoric.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's an irony there.
Because the irony is that for years under Prayut government, right, General Pravit served as the head of the Thai side in the Joint Technical Committee, negotiating with Cambodia under the MOU. And during this whole time, he never raised any concerns about how unfavorable the MOU was for Thailand.
Yeah.
And the spokesman of the party admitted that Kun Pravit didn't have a full comprehension of the contents of the MOU when he was the chief of the Thai delegation to the committee, right? And it was only afterward, only very recently, that General Pravit came to realize its negative impact on Thailand. And that's why the party wants the MOU to be scrapped.
How did he lead the team in negotiating the MOU without full understanding? I don't understand either. I don't quite understand how it's done.
You remember what the memes on General Pravit were for a while? Because every time
I don't know.
every time he was asked serious questions,
Yes.
his answer would be, I don't know, I don't know, I have no idea.
I don't know.
So if you ask him again this time about the MOU, I'm sure he will give the same answer, that I don't know.
It's good being consistent.
But may not be good for the country. If we're talking about it's very important and sensitive issue, right?
Right, yes. Yes, I guess that's about it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back again next Saturday.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.